I'm going to say what you just said.
Okay.
That is the hardest working young man in high school.
Indeed.
We've been joined by Pyerce Oates and his wonderful parents. We're going to let them introduce themselves. Pyerce, it's so wonderful to see you again.
Good to see y'all again.
And thank you so much for taking my last-minute invitation. I was telling the story about how I just was like, I'm going to play that just so you know. And then later I felt bad. I'm like, you should have invited her, but it's Christmas weekend. And you're like, oh, we'll be there.
You said there's a possibility, and I said, we're home. We can pop on
That's
there.
awesome.
So, and then we have Dad on the end.
Good evening.
How are you guys all doing? Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, what have you been, Pyerce? I mean, really, what have you been up to?
Where do you begin?
I know. Please fill us in.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, this.
All right, so Sunday before last, my chapter of the Gospel Music Workshop of America was invited to sing at the Vice President's Mansion in Washington, D.C. for his personal Christmas party.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you met all the Bidens, did you?
I did.
That's fantastic.
I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was nice. This past Tuesday, my gospel choir at the Calloway School of the Arts, founded by myself, we went down to the White House to sing. Unfortunately, the president wasn't in attendance, but we were still in the White House.
Yeah,
so,
really.
You know, yeah, so that was nice.
So we're going to go back
Okay.
because, you know, well, we've had you on the program before. We've talked about your parents and your dad, and you know, we actually included one of your snippets in one of our promos where you say your dad was your introduction to music, your mom was your introduction to gospel,
church. Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
So. Tell me, you started a gospel choir at your school.
That's right.
Is that the first year, and how'd that come about?
Last school year.
Tell me about how that came about.
Okay. Well, it starts in 7th grade. And at the time, Junior she was a big fan of Dorothy Dandridge. She just loved Dorothy, wanted to dress like her, had her hair styled like her all the time. And she said, I want to do something about Dorothy. And I said, well, do something about Black History Month. And I was the only middle schooler allowed because she said the middle schoolers couldn't do this and they weren't serious. So we started this Black History Month program. And I said, well, part of our history is our music. And it starts with the spirituals and then gospel. So I got 213 students, you know, to sing this music.
Wow.
And that was sort of the start. The official choir was founded last school year by myself.
Okay.
And the first secretary at the time, the two of us got the choir together, and at the time it was 20. I think we're at about 50 students now. But only 16 went that night at the White House.
Right.
But there's about 50 of us now. So
Wow.
yeah.
So how does that make you feel that you were the innovator or the initiator of
It's
that?
an interesting experience. There are a lot more in the school that sing gospel music, and for some of them, their only outlet is church. You know, we have community choirs, but everybody doesn't always want to be in a community choir.
Right.
But you should still have that time to learn about the music. You know, there's a lot more to it than just shouting and then contemporary. You know, there's a development, there's hymnology, there's anthems, there's, you know, the European style mixed with African rhythms and put together, you know, all these things that you wouldn't just learn as a vocal major or piano major.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the purpose in that, you know, to learn as well as for me to get a feel for them, you know, and working with my age group and adolescent voices as opposed to developed adult voices and how to accommodate that way, you know.
Right.
So tell us about those lessons working. Tell us about conducting your peers. Have you ever done that before?
Exactly what I was thinking.
You know,
Okay.
you look at that.
That's
You look
exactly
at
what
when
I
he's
was
conducting,
thinking.
and I'm like, he is, what are you, 15, 16?
I'm 16.
He is 16 years old.
You
Tell
read
me
my
about
mind.
that.
The last time I directed a high school choir before CAB, I was in elementary school at Coatesville Area High School, and their gospel choir at the time. My aunt, my mother's sister, was the principal there at the time, and I don't know, I would just roam the halls because I was the principal's, you know, nephew, and I was just like, I just walk in the music rooms and I said, "You're having rehearsals? Well, let me do this," and you know, and that was my introduction to that, and then working at Lincoln with at the time Lincoln University's gospel choir. And, you know, there were some high schools that I had seen that would compete, you know, like on the movie Sister Act 2.
Right.
Right. But that actually happens, you know, and I'm like, well, how do you get involved with that? And it starts with having a high school gospel choir, which we didn't have.
Right.
They just have glee clubs, and they would sing stuff from like Sister Act 2 and Glee or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, to really learn about it, somebody's got to teach it. We didn't have any teachers with that. Me being born in it, I knew the most about it at the time, you know, for as far as the training aspect, because of what I've done in the past and what I'm still doing and what I'm working on and who I work with. So I said I would do it, you know.
Right.
And I'm doing it.
You know, now, I listened my first exposure to Pyerce and his music was when he played the piano. But then, when I heard him open his mouth and sing,
I try.
listen, I'm going to be honest here, and you guys don't have to agree with me. But I heard You Be Blake, man, from Ragtime days.
Oh, my.
I'm
Wow.
telling you, that's who I heard when I heard Pyerce
On the
open-
piano.
Yes, and singing. You know, when he opened his, I said, that's Judy Blake walking the earth again. You know, it's amazing.
So, parents, busy year for you a little bit?
A bit.
How did this, were you instrumental in getting them to the White House?
Yes.
She tried.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I explain to people, sometimes if you ask a question, you get an answer, whether
Yes.
it's good or bad. So I said, wonder what would happen if I called the White House and asked them,
That's
how do you get on the performance
Moms do
calendar?
that.
I
Yeah.
did. And I called, and they referred me to the community support outreach. And they said, well, can I help you? And I said, well, I wanted to know. I said, I have a young man in Delaware that is proficient in piano, and I said he plays for Governor Markell all the time, and he plays for, you know, a gospel music workshop who has their name out there, and he goes to Calloway. Vice President Biden is from Delaware. He lives up the street from the school. How do I get him in there? Oh, we'll send you an application. So they sent me the link. I filled it out, and I sat at my desk, and I said, it's a little too basic. So I said, let me add some more stuff in here. So I added his picture with his bow tie from the last conference. I added all the different, his bio, and then some other different things to specifically Delaware. So I sent it, and she called me back. So now I have this contact communication with a White House person. And she said, well, give me some more information. And I said, you know, I just needed to get him on a platform because this is the end of the term. And it would just be nice to have someone from Delaware. I said, I've never heard of anyone from Delaware being in the White House except for Vice President Biden and his family. I said, it would be very nice, you know, to have, I said, we have a lot of talented kids in the state of Delaware. And I said, I would like to see my son up there. So she's going on. Well, a week later, I got an email and said, oh, you were accepted. Pyerce Oates, you were accepted.
Nice.
So she said, well, you can bring up to 20 people. So I
Thousands
said,
of entries.
okay. So she said, out of thousands of entries,
Awesome.
we were one of 12.
Wow.
But when we got down to the gate with security and the nice gentleman that walked us through the presidential gate in the East
Secret
Wing,
Service, of
he
course.
said that we were picked one out of 40, but it still was over 1,000.
Right.
So I was like, oh, cool. So they were like, well, where's Pyerce? And I said, well, this is Pyerce. And they said, well, who's Sinead? And I'm like, it's just me. It's just me. But then I always tell people are like, well, how did you do that? Can you help me get them in there and this and that and everything else? And I said, sometimes, I guess because as you get older, you get a little more bold.
Oh,
you
yeah.
do.
What are they
You
gonna
really do.
Yeah.
And you just kind of put it out
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, sometimes if you just want something or need something, you just ask the question.
Exactly.
If the answer is no, they usually explain it to you. If it's yes, then you just
Then
get
you won.
excited.
Yeah.
Right, then you won.
So I called him and I said, well, you got into the White House. He's like, oh, yay. Friday night, me and my husband were out on a date, and I got a call, and they told me the date that I picked was picked, except for, we picked the 22nd, but I picked 5 to 7. So she said, well, you had 3 to 5. And I said, well, I wanted 5 to 7, you know, because the kids are in school and everything. And she said, well, Miss Oates, you take this date or we have to make somebody else. So I said, that's okay, we'll take the date. So I emailed his teacher, Miss Cackley, who was the most supportive of this gospel choir. Whatever they need, she tries to do it for them. She's always with them. So we can only take one chaperone per
6 kids.
6 kids. So
yeah.
there was 16 that ended up going. So I had to go because of my the credential stuff, and then the teacher, and then we took the 16 kids, and 7 parents rode on the bus, but they couldn't go in because of the amount
High
of
security.
time and security and stuff. But yeah, it was an experience.
Did you come along?
Oh no, I wasn't even invited.
We didn't have
I
no
didn't
kids.
really want to go.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they went to have fun. It was for them. I tried to stay in the shadows.
I understand.
But one thing we do know
Yeah.
is that you are on board.
That's
and,
right.
And you are a part of the engine.
Yep.
Of course.
You know, and honestly, I think I was telling you before, Pyerce, I admire how much, you know, your parents support and encourage you. But by no means, Shauna and I will never leave you either. We are your biggest fans.
We really are.
And we're there for the long haul, brother. I mean, I can see you in Carnegie Hall. I'm nearsighted now, so just keep in mind, I need a close-up
Yes.
seat, okay?
Sooner than you think.
I know it. I know it.
Wait, do you know something? Because you know how he is.
Yeah, what's he up to now? But it's
Okay.
sooner than you think. Well, seriously, seriously, that's my plug in my bid. I need, you know, at least the second World
Within the
Cup.
first, you're right.
I can't see you beyond that.
No, it's just, you know what it is for us, and this is ridiculous. I was working on the piece at a friend's house earlier today, and she was in the kitchen, and this is ridiculous, Sine, okay? She's in the kitchen, and I'm sitting here putting together a piece, crying. This is not my child, okay? And I'm like, tears in my eyes. I'm like, poor. Oh, just not even, and I'm just like, what is going on? And I guess it's just, you know, from distinguished gentleman when I first met him, one of the youngest,
Yeah, it was
with
a nice
all his,
honor.
you know what I mean? And it was, you know, I'm talking about you like you're not here. Just don't pay attention. But it was just something. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, does he? Does he know how
I don't
talented
think he
is,
understands.
you know?
I think he just does it. He loves doing it. I don't think he understands the magnitude
Right,
and all
of how-
that he
and
is
how
doing,
it-
how he impacts people.
and how you impact people.
Right.
Because you know how music makes you feel. You know how other people's music has made you feel.
That's right.
That's how you make us feel.
Yep.
You know, I can do this. You know, and then I can put my head down and I can listen to you play. And thank you, Pyerce.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pyerce.
So Merry Christmas,
Same to
Happy New
y'all.
Year.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you at some point in 2016, I'm sure.
Shake my hand.
Mom, Dad,
Yes,
Michael.
yes.
But we'll see you guys all, I'm sure, in 2016. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you.